I asked you guys for scary stories, and you delivered. Hey Sarah, it feels weird even writing this out, but here goes. A few years ago, we had to move home to be closer to my husband's new job. He did shift work, so there was occasions where he would work a few night shifts. That same year, I gave birth to our son, and there was times where it was just me and my son if my husband was working nights. I never noticed anything unusual and always felt safe being alone, but then things changed. One night while my husband was at work, I had put the baby to bed and I decided to run a bath. I left my son's door open. It always remained open, and from where the bathroom was, his room was directly opposite, so I could see his doorway and inside his room. I had a few candles on, had the music on low, and all of a sudden there was a few noises into the hallway. My hallway was all wooden floor, which kinda did creak in places, and that's what I could hear, so I hit pause on the music and I just listened. It went quiet, but then after a few minutes, again, as if someone was walking, so I jumped out the bath, grabbed a towel and come rushing out into the hallway to find, as you can imagine, nothing. I then decided to check around the house to see if something else was potentially making that noise. But as I got into the kitchen, I heard a door slam, and my gut instinct was immediately to run to my son's room to find the door shut. I rang my husband and he came straight home. Every window, every door was locked. There was nobody inside of that house but us. At this point, my husband didn't really believe me. He thought I was just tired, maybe slight paranoia. But as more happened, believe me when I say, he changed his mind. For about a week, even maybe two, nothing else happened. I had my son in my room for the majority of that time, mainly for my own peace of mind. And my husband had bought one of them baby monitors, so I could listen to my son when he eventually went back into his own room. I had even gotten to the point where I felt kinda settled again and comfortable being alone. My son was back in his own room and everything felt normal. One night, my husband had gone to work. I was in the living room watching TV. My son was in bed. It was around 11 o'clock and I started turning things off, getting ready for bed myself. I took my cup into the kitchen and as I went to leave the room, the baby monitor started making a noise, which sounded like a crackle to begin with, followed by my husband's voice saying, "He's a good boy." I dropped the cup and ran to my son's room. The baby monitor was laying on the unit at the side of his cot, face down, as if someone had put it there. It usually sits upright. My son was wide awake, just staring around the room. One of his teddy bears, which usually sits on the chair in the corner of his room, was in the middle of the floor. I took my son into my bedroom and I sat awake for the rest of the night until my husband arrived home from work. He decided to take the week off to try and figure this out, and I'm glad he did because the following night I had already fallen asleep and my husband came to bed and had the TV on low. My son was in our room as I refused to have him back in his, and my husband woke me up by jumping out of bed. My son's door had slammed shut and finally he realised this wasn't just me. In fact, for the next few days, even through the daytime, things were happening. We had someone out to the house, but we decided to move after a few months. Whatever was in that house made it very clear they didn't want us there too. I have never experienced anything ever since, but I will never forget. Thanks for listening. Lisa. A scary story is a scary story. A ghost story is terrifying. But when a ghost story combines with a baby monitor, we are taking things to a whole new level. If you've got a scary story that you want to share, send it to this email address. I am picking out my favourites to make videos, and also you might be featured on my new podcast.
Story time on one of the worst dates I have ever been on. Now, I'm going to change some details just so that it's not too specific. And I did do some things that were out of character. So please try not to judge me. But basically, I met this guy on Hinge. We hit it off. We started chatting. We exchanged numbers. We had a couple of phone calls. Like that was good. He was that guy that would, instead of asking me out on a proper first date, he would be like, "Oh, just come over. Like, just come over." Da, da, da. And I freaking hate that. Just come over is not a first date. We met on the internet. You could be a psychopath. I could rob you. Like, why are you inviting strangers over to your house? I hate when guys do that. Absolute worst. Don't do it if you're a guy or a girl. So he kept saying, just come over, come over. And I kept saying, I'm not just going to come over. Do I seem like the type of girl that's just going to come over to your house? Like, ask me on a date. Ask me on a date. Anyways, fast forward, it turns out that he was going to be going to one of the places where I work, and where I work, it's like a massive place. There's like multiple bars, there's multiple places to be. And I was like, oh, you're going to be at my job. Like, you should come say hi. And he's like, yeah, like, we'll see. He was coming with a group of friends. So I honestly didn't expect much. My expectations are through the floor at this. He doesn't end up coming to see me on my shift. Honestly, whatever. Maybe he's not that interested. Maybe he doesn't want to meet me. I'm not too worried about it. But then, right when I was finishing my shift, he calls me and he's like, hey, I didn't come and see you. It was too crazy. I ended up leaving because it was so busy. But do you still want to meet up? And I was like, well, I'm just finishing work. But yeah, we can try to meet up, like, that's fine. I'm like, maybe he's like, well, I already left the area. I'm like, well, maybe we can find a bar that's like where you are, type of thing. And I'll come like now. And he's like, yeah, just come to my area. So I'm like ending up Ubering to his area, but I can't find any bar that's still open because it was so late. So I was kind of frustrated with that because I didn't want to just obviously go over to his place like I just said. So I was like, oh, like, do you want to like meet me downstairs? Because when I got there, he met me downstairs. And when I see him, first of all, he looks worse than his pictures. I also realized that this guy is wasted, which I should have expected because he was, drinking with his friends. He was at a bar and whatever. But the guy was wasted. And I was like, why? Why? Like, why would you want to meet me now? Like, this is mind you, I'm coming from work. I'm dead sober. I don't even drink. So I would have been dead sober anyways. So go and I was like, oh, well, do you want to go for a walk? It's literally so late at this point and it's cold out. He's like, no, he's like, I have a rooftop, like patio, like just come hang out there. You don't have to come to my place. We can hang out on the roof. And I'm like realizing there's nothing open in the area. Walk is cold or whatever. So I was like, sure, fine. I'll go to your rooftop, whatever. So
So I told this story already once on my TikTok, but I think people thought that it was fake because of the way I conveyed it. So I'm going to tell it again in a way that I think people are actually going to take it in for what it is, okay? Because this is a real true story, and it's why you should never make friends at a bar or make friends and fully like put your trust in them, okay? This was like my moment of realization that you cannot trust other women just because they're women. Like, not everybody is a girl's girl. And this is what solidified that for me. So one night I went to this bar by myself because I didn't want to go home. I was in a really abusive relationship with my ex, baby, father. So whatever, I didn't want to go home to get belittled, beaten, and whatever. So I decided to go to the bar by myself. Now I would have gone with some friends, but I had moved away from my hometown for this motherfucker. So I had no friends. And so I decided that I was just going to go by myself, clear my head, get a couple drinks, and then I would go home. Hopefully he'd be sleeping by then. So I order myself a Paloma. Those are so good. Don't sleep on those. It makes me feel like a rich bitch when I order one of those. Like, hey, can I please get a Paloma? And they look at me like, you know what the fuck that is? Anyways, yeah, so I order a Paloma. And I'm sitting there, I'm drinking it, I'm minding my fucking business. I'm literally not conversing with anybody because I am depressed. I'm thinking about what's going to happen to me when I go home. When in comes this girl who introduces herself to me as Maggie. And I'm using her real name because I don't even think that was her real name. I think she just gave me a random name, which in hindsight, I should have done the same. So then she asks me what I'm drinking. I tell her what it is, and she orders 2 more and pushes one over to me and, gets one for herself. And then we just have like normal bar small talk. At the time, I thought that she was going to be like one of my friends, I thought she was a safe person. I thought she was cool to hang out with, and that it would be like a good, little dynamic to get me away from this abuse. Come to find out, I was wrong about that. Fast forward, the bar's closing and I'm drunk and I still don't want to go home because at that point, like, I know that guy is still awake. I know that I'm gonna go home and he's going to be like, you cheated on me, and then bop, 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 bop. So couldn't do that, didn't want to do that. And I had nowhere else to go because, like I said, this was a new area for me. I moved away from my friend's family and everything to live in this guy's house with him. So whatever, Maggie could tell that I didn't want to go home. So she invited me to go to what she was going to after she left the bar, which was she was going to go to like a bonfire at her friend Josh's house. Again, using the real name because I don't think these are their real names. So stupidly, I was like, yes, I will go with you because I don't want to go home. The car ride was fine, okay? The car ride was great. I remember jamming. We had all the windows down. Honestly, I felt like I was riding in the car with my best friend. Like, it was those type of vibes. It was vibes. So then she starts driving down this like dirt road, which isn't, I'm thinking like, okay, this person probably lives on a dirt road. Like, we literally live out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm assuming that she knows where she's going. Okay, everything's fine. Then instead of pulling into like some kind of neighborhood or even like a driveway or anything like that, she pulls into a clearing, turns the car off, and then literally just turns to me.
Tell me, what's the creepiest experience you ever had in your life and why you still think about that moment?
So I got one for y'all. So growing up, we would always go over my mom's aunt's house, so she'd be my great aunt. Everybody called her Granny, though. That was her nickname. So Granny's house, it was a pretty decent sized house. It was a big house, at least by my standards. So to actually put this story in perspective, I actually did some digging and found some pictures of the house. This is Granny's house right here. So you got your main floor, there's a basement, and then there's the upstairs here. And upstairs, you have a bedroom here, you have a bedroom up here, and then there's this long hallway, and then in the back, there's another bedroom in the middle. But anyway, so anytime I went over this house as a kid to visit family, I always ended up getting the heebie-jeebies, right? Especially in this basement in the top floor. Now, one particular day, I'm about 14, 15 years old. We go over to visit family, and everybody's just hanging out, chilling. And my mom's cousins start telling her that, you know, they've been having some experiences lately. They said they've heard like voices, that they've been feeling like people were watching them. One of them even said they felt touched on their shoulder, and this all happened upstairs. And y'all know I'm white as hell, so I just felt the need to go investigate. So I start making my way upstairs. Remember, I told you there's a bedroom here, and then there's this hallway, and there's another bedroom in the middle. Well, the bedroom in the middle was especially creepy. This was the bedroom. No windows, no nothing. And for some fucking reason, it was filled with these porcelain dolls that looked like this. There had to be at least 100 of them some bitches in there. So anyway, I get to the top of the steps and I start doing my investigating. I'm just walking back and forth down this hallway, talking shit to this ghost. Like I said, white. But you know, looking back on it, telling this story, this is what it was like.
I can't wait to get my hands on this food. Come on out, cuz.
Yeah, I was Ray Ray. And I had to be walking back and forth, walking through these rooms for at least 5 to 10 minutes. I'm walking around like, if somebody's here, make your presence known. Like I'm on fucking ghost hunters and shit. And yeah, I'm starting to get kind of annoyed.
Show yourself! No, Ray, don't do that. Don't.
So yeah, as I'm talking my shit, I walk into this one end bedroom and the hairs on the back of my neck stand up and I suddenly feel cold. Like the whole back of my neck just felt ice cold. And I'm just standing there dead still like, oh shit. I slowly turned around and I just reached my hand out. Y'all, my whole arm up to my elbow went numb. Like static numb. I pulled it back real quick. It was fine. Did it again, numb. Yo, I ran down them fucking stairs so fast. I got the fuck out of there.
Can we show them the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
They went to both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little freaked out right now. So I'm sitting here on the couch about to put a movie on, okay? My daughter is standing in the hallway and she looks in the kitchen, then me and her make eye contact, then she looks in the kitchen again. And I said, what? She tells me that she sees a black guy in the kitchen. The thing that comes to mind is stand up and go see what's in the kitchen, because why are you saying you see a black guy in the kitchen when the only people that are home right now are me and my 3 babies, okay? My husband is at work. I said, what black guy? But as I'm saying, what black guy? I'm getting up to go walk into the kitchen, right? I walk in the kitchen. I walk towards the basement. Nobody in there, right? Walk out the kitchen. I said, Mama, what are you talking about? And she starts like describing what she saw. Like she points out the height of it, and it wasn't that much taller than her. She says it's black. It has big red eyes. The mouth is open. and it has big black hands. So immediately after she says that, I become genuinely curious. I'm like, okay, is this like her making up stuff for her imagination? Because we all know kids have an amazing imagination, okay? So I'm asking her questions like, where'd you see that? She points and says she saw it right next to the refrigerator. Okay, so where she was standing at in the hallway from where she pointed where she saw it at the refrigerator, they would be standing like right across from each other, right? So I go in the kitchen, I take a look around again, just basically letting her know like, okay, mommy is looking around, mommy's not scared, like there's nothing to be scared of. I let her know that I don't see nothing in there. She's still talking about it. So I tell her, I'm like, okay, we're not going to talk about it no more. And I immediately start praying over the house. And I tell whatever this thing is, it's not welcome here. We're protected and we're covered by the blood of Jesus Christ himself. This is not that type of household, okay? This is really not that type of household. I don't do that scary shit. I don't do the ghost shit. I don't do the entity, the demon shit. I don't do none of that, okay? So after I do that, and I'm feeling better because I prayed and, I've told this thing that it's not welcome here. Even if it's just a part of her imagination, I feel better knowing that I did that. And then it shows her that, okay, mommy is not scared. Like, mommy is praying over the house. Like, I'm protected. Everything is safe. Everything is good. Here, sit down, and I'm finna scroll and find a movie like I was doing before. She comes back into the living room and she says, Mom, I don't think that thing is leaving. And I said, why did you say that? And she said, because when I was helping Gio is my son. She was like, when I was helping Gio get his fruit snacks out the pantry, he was standing there again. I don't think he left. Really, as she says that, I stand up because that's my first reaction, to go in there, look again, pray again. But then I'm getting like my hair on my freaking arms start standing up. Like it's like everything, like I'm getting chills. Like my heart is starting to race. I'm like, bro, what is going on? Like, it's to the point where I'm starting to feel uncomfortable, but I can't let her know that I feel uncomfortable, right? I'm like, okay, Mama, show me where you saw him again. Like, show me where you saw him the second time. And she shows me, and apparently this time he was standing next to the basement, like the stairs to get to the basement. So I'm like, okay. And at this point, my curiosity is at an all-time high, okay? Like, I'm curious. I want to know everything. Like, so I start asking her questions. I'm like, describe him to me again. Where do you see him at? Do you see him when mommy and daddy are sleeping? Because she says it's a guy. So I'm like, do you see him when mommy and daddy are sleeping? Does he talk? Like, I need to know everything. She says he doesn't talk, okay? So a couple minutes go by and I asked her again. I'm like, does he talk to you? Like, does he say anything to you? She said, Mom, I already told you, he doesn't talk. But then I asked her, like, have you ever seen this thing, like, in videos, movies, like something? Have you ever seen it, like, in front of you, like in a video, a movie, like something? Because then if she tells me that she's seen it in like a video or a movie, then I know that it's like, it's not.
Mulla on teillä taas yksi creepy tarina, ja tää on vähän sama kategoriaa kuin se Peeping Wife, mikä oli mun mielestä yksi pelottavimmista, mitä mä ikinä kuullut. Jos sitä kuuluu, niin se on täällä mun jossain videossa, niin mä kuuntelen. Mutta tämän tarinan nimi on Standing Still Husband, eli paikallaan seisova mies, aviomies. Ja kaikki alkaa siis siitä, että tämmöinen nainen on kotona yksin, hänen poikansa vaan töissä, ja sitten hänen oveen koputetaan. Hän on vaan oven, ja siellä on joku ihan vieras nainen. Ja tämä nainen sanoo hänelle, että hei, mun aviomies on sun kotona, ja niin kun, saanko mä tulla hakemaan sen sieltä, saanko mä tulla etsiä sen. Sitten se talonomistaja sieltä, ei täällä ole ketään, mä oon yksin kotona, täällä ei ole ketään. Ja tämä nainen väittää, että kyllä se on siellä, että siellä se on. Ja täällä tulee niinku semmoiset ihan sika-oudot fiilikset. Sä oot, no ei täällä nyt ole ketään, sulla on varmaan väärä talo, että moikka. Ja hän laittaa oven kiinni. Mutta sitten hän kumminkin niinku haluaa vähän tsekkailla, katsoa silleen ovien takaa ja suihkuverhon takaa, missä yleensä kaikki murhaajat piilee. Ja näin, ja hän ei niinku löydä ketään. Ja hän menee siihen ovelle ja sanoo, että hei, et ei täällä niinku ole ketään. Ja sitten nainen sanoo, että on, että sä et tiedä, että kun se tekee semmoista, että se menee ihmepaikkoihin piiloon, mistä sä et niinku vois löytää, tosi semmoisiin pieniin paikkoihin. Että se on niinku tarkoitus, että sä et löydä sitä. Ja sitten niinku hän hämmästyy vielä enemmän tämä nainen. Se on silleen, että what? Okei. Okay. Ja sitten nainen sanoo, niinku, että mä voin tulla näyttää sulle, että missä hän on. Sitten talon omistajalla tulee semmoinen niinku red flag, että älä päästä ketään sun taloon. Hän sanoo, että ei kiitos, että ehkä mä soitan poliisit. Ja sitten nainen sanoo siihen, että ei, poliisit ei tule eikä ne tee tälle asialle mitään, että mä voin itse tulla. Tämä nainen sanoo, että ei kiitos. Heippa. No ei mitään, hän päättää niin katsoa sitä elokuvaa. Ja hän soittaa hänen poikaystävälle, ja poikaystävä käskee, niin kuin, että soita poliisit. Mutta sitten ei kumminkaan niin halua soittaa poliiseja jostain syystä, vaan hän nyt uskoo, että siellä ei ole sitten ketään. Ja sitten tämä nainen, joka tuli niin koputtaa oveen, niin se istui siellä ulkon niin jossain retkeilytuolissa ja poltti tupakkaa, niin kuin vaan odotti. Ja sitten kun tämä talonomistaja katsoi niinku leffaa, niin se tuli kumminkin semmoinen olo, että hetkinen, että nyt on semmoinen olo, että joku niinku katsoo mua. Sitten se rupesi niinku katsoa silleen niinku televisiotason alta ja takaa, ja teekö semmosia niinku aika pieniä paikkoihin. Sitten se käveli keittiöön, sitten se näki, että siellä oli semmoinen niinku sormi silleen taitettuna. Siellä niinku jääkaapin ja seinän välissä, missä oli 20 sentin rako. Sitten se niinku jatkaa kattomista ja se näkee käsivarren. Ja sitten hän näkee siellä miehen, joka on ihan luonnottomassa asennossa. Siis ihan niinku, ja sitten niinku pää jotenkin ojennettuna, siis hyi. Ja tämä mies ei sano mitään, se vaan niinku tuijottaa häntä. Ja sitten nainen sanoo, että hei herrat, sun pitää niinku poistua mun talosta. Ole hyvä ja poistu. Joten mies sanoo, tai kun ei vastaa mitään. Se vaan kyttää siinä.
A voodoo doll saved mine and my son's life. That is the title of the true scary story submission I am telling tonight. There is a trigger warning for SA in this, so if you cannot handle that, please scroll. Guys, you definitely want to protect yourself with this one because it does deal with voodoo, so just make sure that your headphones are in your ear and you are saying a prayer before and after. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to subscribe to my YT channel and my IG. Both are in the link tree in my bio. If something happens to TikTok, that is where I will be. Also, guys, if you want to send me your true scary story and you want me to recount it on here, my email is in my bio. So today's submitter's name is Rachel, and Rachel comes from a big family. Her mom was one of 12. Her grandmother, her, and her aunt all had special abilities. They were sensitives, but they were kind of secretive about it. She said that her aunt and her mother were literally the definition of eyes in the back of your head, but that they were, again, secretive about it. Growing up, she remembers a lot of weird experiences. Like, she would sleepwalk a lot, and she would always end up in 2 different spots. Either the corner in the living room or the closet in the basement underneath the stairs, which is creepy in itself. She also remembers one time she was in her family home and she was walking past the bathroom. She sees something in the corner of her eye. She looks and there's a little girl crouching in the corner in the bathtub. And one time they were vacationing in Florida and she woke up in the middle of the night. She was asleep and she saw something sitting at the end of her bed, and there was a man sitting at the end of her bed. Now this scared her and she went and told her mom about it. And her mom actually seemed pleased about this for some reason. So her mom goes and gets her grandmother and brings her over to her, and she's like, listen, I always knew that you had special gifts. She, I think, was proud of her.
I'm going to show you guys what entirely convinced me that ghosts are real. I've always believed in them, but I've always been like suspicious just because I've never seen anything myself. But I can't believe I've never shown this on TikTok before. I'm going to show you a photo, but let me give you like a little backstory. So my mom does body painting, basically, where she paints like clothing on models. And back when I lived at home, this was so long ago, I think I was in early high school or something, she had a model over, basically had a mirror set up in our kitchen, and this model had a little BlackBerry phone, and that's how you know it was so long ago. But she had a BlackBerry, and she took a photo of like her in the mirror, like holding it like this. And unfortunately I only have like the cropped in version where you can see like the ghost in the photo. But in the background was like our hallway, and our hallway had nothing in it. There was like some pictures on the wall and stuff like that, but in the hallway you can see like an entire figure, and you can see his shoes, and like he's wearing a top hat, he's holding a baby. And then if you really zoom in and go into detail, like my dad blew it up on the computer and you can see like more different faces and heads and everything. The photo is not great quality, obviously, because it's from a BlackBerry, but I promise you, let me just show you it and then maybe you'll believe me. All right, I'm gonna try to show you guys this the best I can. This is the model, she's facing a mirror. This is the hallway in the back. Like there's nothing in this area of the hallway. The photos on the wall are right here, and then it's just like, you know, a hallway to walk through. Here is the man. If you can't see that, like, I don't even know what to say, because that is so blatantly obvious and like there, that there's like a man, his face, he's wearing a top hat that has like a gold buckle on it. And then down below, let me see if I can like move myself. I don't know if you can see it in this crop, the way that it's cropped, but you can also see he has like 2 shoes on right here. And then if I can zoom into the photo, I feel you guys are gonna all think I'm crazy, but if you zoom into the photo, you can see right here, there's like a little, it looks like a little skeleton, but it's like looks like he's holding a little baby. Like you can see the mouth and the 2 eyes. I swear I'm not crazy. This was like the most wild thing ever, seeing this photo and this man right here. Like you can't tell me there's not a man right there. There's nothing there on the wall in the background. Like it should be just blank, empty. And the model was convinced that it was like a smudge on the mirror. Like she didn't want to believe it, but I believe it. So another weird thing that happened after we had seen this photo, like a few weeks or a few months later or something, I came home one day and one of the light bulbs had like burst. Like, it was still screwed in, but the glass had burst, and it was just on the ground, and it looked like someone had swept it into like a perfect little pile. But my sister was the only one home. She was upstairs, and I went upstairs and was like, did you do this? Why did you break the light and not clean it up? And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I didn't hear anything. And this light had literally just like exploded out of the light fixture on the ceiling, and it was like right around the area of where that photo was taken. So I feel like these ghosts or like spirits or whatever you want to call them were just like passing through our house, or maybe they like would pass back and forth. I really don't know. And I never saw anything else after that. I never tried to. I don't know if I'm someone who can really see ghosts. I feel like some people can and some people can't. But that photo in itself, especially because it was in my house taken, convinced me 100%, because I was like, there's no way that a photo could show that. And I feel like old phones could show things like that, like could capture that more than like the newer phones can. Like, I feel like we take photos all the time. I've never seen anything on like my iPhone, but I feel like the older phones, like the Blackberries and things, and maybe because it was like reflected in a mirror, I don't know, call me crazy, but to me that convinced me enough to know for sure that they exist.
This true scary story is so bad that it sent somebody to the psych ward, and then what happens in the psych ward is absolutely insane. I am going to tell you that this story has a trigger warning for 2 different things: SA and harming yourself, except for this person wasn't really the one harming herself, but it has a trigger warning for that anyway. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to my YT account. I'm going to put it right here, and the link is also in my bio. I'm going to be telling a true scary story on there that I have not told yet tonight. I'll put the link for my YT right here and a link for Instagram here. Okay, let's get started. Today's true scary story was sent to me by a girl named Kimberly. Kimberly said that she has been seeing this demon creature since she was 8 years old. She calls it Tall Man. Now, Tall Man is terrifying looking. He is 10 feet tall. He is literally made of skin and bones. He has no eyeballs. His mouth is stitched shut, and he's constantly crouched over in this position, just giving a shush motion all the time. First, Kimberly saw Tall Man as a friend. He helped her steer clear of danger. She actually saw him for the first time when she was being SA'd for a couple of years, which is absolutely terrible. And he was all that she had, because her friends told her that she had changed, probably because of what was happening to her, and they kind of just left her. She was alone, left to her own devices with this Tall Man creature that was replicating a friend at the time. So sorry, Kimberly, that happened to you. Now, when Kimberly turned about 12 years old, Tall Man started to change a little bit. He used to be far away in distance, and he started to get closer to her. Then he started from his eyes, and when he would bleed from his eyes, he would grab her arm and he would grip her arm so tightly that it would leave cuts in her arms. And this became a problem, because when she would wake up and she would go to her mom would see all these cuts all over her, and she would be like, what is going on with you? What is happening? And she's like, I swear I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. She was just petrified. She had no idea what to do. But her mom was like, you're going to the hospital. So her mom takes her to the hospital, and the doctors look at the cuts, and they cannot figure out where these cuts are coming from. They're not from a weapon. They're not from a person. They look like little holes, and they can't figure it out. As the years went on, Tall Man just became worse and worse. He actually started to take over Kimberly's body. Kimberly's mom said that sometimes she would find her in the kitchen in the middle of the night, and she would just go and grab a fork and then just walk back to her room. She would then wake up the next morning and she would have holes in her arms, and she went and told her mom, like, listen, something is going on with me. I'm waking up with all this stuff all over me. I have no idea what's happening. Now, her mom didn't believe her. Her mom thinks that she is doing this to herself. So she's like, you're going to the ER again. So she takes her to the ER again, and they actually admit her into the psych ward for ideation, even though she's not. But it would not be long before everybody around her believed her. Once she's in the hospital, she signs the paperwork, she gets ready, she puts her clothes on because they make you wear different clothes, and she goes to bed around 2 to 3 a.m. She falls asleep for about 20 minutes before something crazy happens. So after she falls asleep, she wakes up to the nurses screaming. She hears them screaming, and she shoots up, and she looks in the corner of her room, and the nurse is not in her room. She's actually screaming over the intercom, and Tall Man is in the corner. And she said that Tall Man looked sad. He did not look okay. So she quietly asks, are you okay? After she says this, she just hears the nurse say over the intercom, what is that? Who is in your room? Kimberly, how did they get in there? She's...
What the fuck was that? Bro!
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean,
break?
Hey friends, if you want to hear something scary, don't scroll. Alright, so listen, I haven't actually told this story yet because I'm not even sure to this day what actually happened. I need y'all to tell me if I'm crazy or not because this was just not normal. So this story takes place back when I worked late nights at this diner. I'd get off around 2 or 3 a.m. and then I'd have this routine. Drive home, stop at the 24-hour gas station, grab a snack, go home, and knock the fuck out. Same thing every single night. It was my regimen. Well, one night when I pull up to the gas station, the lot is empty except for this one guy. Now, I'm already a very paranoid person, and this guy was setting off alarm bells. He was tall, wearing a black hoodie, and he was standing dead still next to the gas pump. No car, no phone, just literally standing there. I hesitated a lot before getting out because my instincts were screaming at me. But then something in my mind overrided that and told me like, okay, calm down, you're overreacting. He's probably just waiting for somebody. So I get out, walk inside, grab my stuff, and then when I come back out, he's gone. And I don't mean like, oh, he just walked away, gone. I forgot to mention that it was winter during this story, so like, you know, there would be footprints if he just kind of walked away, but there were no footprints from where he was standing. Now my paranoid ass is thinking, oh my God, he somehow like got into my car and he's waiting for me in the back seat. I took a look around my car. Thankfully that was not the case. So I got in the car, locked the doors, and drove off. When I pull out of the gas station, this is when it gets really fucking weird because a mile or so down the road, I see him again. The same exact man, just standing on the side of the road, not walking, not moving, not talking on the phone, just standing there. He didn't have a bike, he didn't have a car, he didn't have anything that could have gotten him to that point so quickly. At this point, I'm freaking the hell out. I don't look at him, I just keep driving. I don't even think about stopping. But then I turn onto my street, and guess who's standing at the corner? Him. Now, I live in a really small neighborhood, and there's no bus stops or any reason why he should just be out standing there. Not to mention the time that it was. I sped past him as fast as I could, pulled into my driveway, and before turning off the car, I checked my rearview mirrors and everything to make sure like he's still not there, or to see what he's doing, at least. He was gone. And at this point, I'm really scared. I don't know what's going on. I didn't even want to go inside, but I also didn't want to